Oh, good.
Good, thanks. I'm good.
All right, fantastic. Well, what I want to do to begin, there are a lot of people, as you know, the audience here is a lot of Americans, Canadians, a few Europeans. So what I'd like to do, not everyone will be terribly familiar with you, some certainly are, is just go back and give them a sense of who you are, what you've done, and some of the things that have gone on, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Fantastic. So, I'm going to start you from Luton.
I'm from Luton, yeah.
And early on in your life, and don't worry, by the way, you'll get full chance to give us every detail of what you're about and what you're after and everything else, so it's all good. There's a lot of information about you online, and even from some reputable sources, it's not always 100% accurate. I think that's reasonable to say.
I think the first time we come across was, I think you put something up saying that I'd been abusive to my partner or something, which was one of the things that is not incredibly accurate. Yeah.
And that's why I apologise to you, and I mentioned that on this show. No, I mentioned that on this show. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's fine.
Yeah, I'll happily explain any of those instances. The instance that you was talking about was what I went to prison for when I was 21 years old. Yeah, if you want me, I can explain that now if you want.
We can certainly come around to that. Absolutely, set the record straight. I mean, there's a lot of people that probably, as I said, the audience is split. There are many people that will be with you, many that will be against you, so you can get your entire side across. But just to give a rough outline here, did you join the BNP when you were younger?
I did.
You did.
So what I did was, when I was about 21 years old, I'd seen my whole life problems in my town. Yeah, I'd seen problems growing up. I'd experienced them. I'd seen the extremism. You have to understand that the group who are now Al Mujahideen, who are now a prescribed banned terrorist organisation, who are an organisation that 60% of the terrorists in prison are ex-members of, Michael Adebolajo, Anjem Chowdhury, Omar Bakri, Abu Hamza, they were the leaders of this group, and their head office was in my town. And in 2004, I organised my first demonstration against them. Now, this was before 7/7, so before a lot of people even were talking about Islamic extremism, before people understood who these people were, what they were preaching, I knew because I lived it. We knew because I know people who have converted to that strand of Islam. I know people who have gone fight for ISIS. I know people who are in jail for terrorism. So I've experienced this my whole life. So after the Beslan massacre, for anyone who doesn't know what that was, it was an incident in Chechnya where Muslims took hostage school children and massacred them, whilst their parents ran to the school and fell on the floor screaming and crying. And I can still remember watching this incident. And I was a young man. And I remember seeing it thinking, what the hell is this about? And then I remember watching online as Muslims from my hometown sat in a chicken shop in my town centre saying that an attack like that would be justified on an English school. When I heard that, that was my wake-up moment. Everyone will have a wake-up moment to what woke them up. That was my moment to think, who the fuck are these? Yeah? And what is this about? Yeah. So then I started looking, listening and reading. And then I started looking at who this group were. Now, at the time, this was when I first joined the BNP. Now, in Luton, which I called Ban the Luton Taliban. This was because this same group were recruiting people. They were sending them to fight the Taliban, openly celebrating this fact online in my town centre. Yeah? So I then organised a demonstration to counter that group. And I'll be honest, I am honest, yeah? I'm like an open book. Anyone can ask me any question. You can ask me last time I had sex, I'll tell you. No, there's no hold bar. So the question, I looked at this group and I organised a demonstration. The truth was, at that age, I was involved in the football violence scene as a youngster. And I organised it amongst our football fans, our football group of friends. And after that, that's when the British National Party got in contact. They got in contact because they saw something quelling on the streets of Luton, the first incidents of it. I had a meeting with them. They showed me their 10-point plan, their 10 basic points, which were every British old age pensioner should have a home, yeah, we should have heating, all these sorts of things, which really you couldn't argue with. So we set up a meeting. We went along to their first meeting. Yeah. Then they asked us to set up another meeting, so basically everyone can come and listen. And when we set the meeting up, we went to the pub which we'd set up on our estate, and they said that he can't come in, and they were on about the black lads, our friends, and my best friends. Yeah, remember this is 2004. Yeah, this is before Nick Griffin's been on Question Time. This is before the BNP have really hit big. This is before, as a 21-year-old, I didn't know much. I didn't know Nick Griffin was the founder of the National Front. I didn't know he's a Holocaust denier. I didn't know he was linked with the KKK. I didn't know any of this bullshit. I just knew that I had a problem in my town with Islamic radical extremists. I knew that no one was helping us. When you're drowning, you clutch at straws. Yeah, and that's what happened. And when they didn't let when they said the black lads couldn't come into the meeting, we cancelled that meeting. We said, you're not having a meeting in our pub. You're certainly not using us as your foot soldiers in the town of Luton. Yeah, and from that day, in fact, Searchlight. I didn't know who any of these people were, any of these groups were back then. But Searchlight actually ran an article saying when the MiGs, which is called the Men in Gear, it's Luton's football hooligans, when the MiGs fell out with the BNP, and that's what it was over. And so I was on the people like always say you was on the leaked membership list of the BNP. Yeah, the leaked membership list of the BNP showed 6 years. I was a member for 12 months. I didn't renew my membership. Yeah? I didn't ever get anything again.
Now, I will come back to the BNP and, well, some other bits of it, but we'll come back to that soon, because next up, and how certainly you came to be known, certainly throughout Britain and possibly globally, was the EDL, the English Defence League. Now, this is where I became aware of you. And I'd seen it brewing. Obviously, the mainstream media focused mainly on the lads with haircuts like mine and black bomber jackets that were at the rallies. And I'm not ashamed at all to admit that my views on the EDL were cemented with the Manchester march, the demonstration. I did personally witness Hitler salutes, people spitting on Muslims. And I very quickly made a decision about everyone to do with the EDL, because I'm a human like anyone else. You associate people. And naturally, that's exactly what I associated with you, because you were the figurehead. You were the guy behind it. Now, I did learn a little more about your attitude towards these people in the EDL, and that came to eventually your parting with them. But perhaps you'd like to tell people a little about the more hardline elements of it and the Nazi sympathisers and things like that.
Yeah, look, if you the thing that really frustrated me over the years and continues to at times is the way that if you have a demonstration like that Manchester one, I'd say that was our probably 4th ever demonstration. If I run you through what happened, you're on about the early Manchester one.
Yes.
So what happened was we were a group of lads from Luton. Yeah, we were angry with what's happening, and we started looking at where this group, after they attacked our homecoming parade in Luton. Anjem Chowdhury's group did. Now, after that, I saw 6 weeks later, or 4 weeks later, I saw that same group converting a 13-year-old child, a white English child called Sean, or it might have even been 11 years old, in Birmingham city centre outside the Bull Ring. And they're all cheering Allah Akbar as this child is converted to Islam. And then after that, we sat there as lads from Luton and said, they can't do this. They can't be a left. They were doing an Islamic roadshow. So they're spitting in our soldiers' faces in Luton. They're converting kids in Birmingham. We then looked at their next one, and it was in Wood Green. So we basically said, we're going to shut that down. That's all our tactic was they're not doing it. Yeah. So we went in the back of a van, about 50 of us, piled out the back of the van, all running down the streets in Wood Green. It worked. The riot police turned up. Their event was cancelled. Yeah, that was solely what we were trying to do. When we saw what happened to the young child in Birmingham, we went to Birmingham. Now, I made the placard, so I know what the placard said. And you can go through and have a look. And the reason why the placard said this is because you have to understand where I'm from and my upbringing. Yeah? So I'm not from a majority white area, yeah, majority white town. Right? English white people are the minority where I've been brought up. I don't care. That hasn't affected my life. If you get the group of friends I've been brought up with, we're from every single background you can think of, and we're best friends. Yeah? And I've been brought up, and at this time, I had many Muslim friends. Yeah? So I made placards, and they said, Muslim, no problem. Extremist Muslim, big problem. Now, at this time, we wasn't against Islam. I wasn't against Islam. I hadn't read the Quran. I hadn't studied. I hadn't looked into it. I was against liberty-taking, radical Muslim extremists taking the piss in our country, taking the piss in our towns, absolutely rubbing it in our faces, and we was a reaction to that. So when we went to Birmingham, we went simply against that group. Yeah. So we made it very clear. But some of the placards said Nigerian victims of jihad. They made it very clear where we were coming from. Yeah. National Front, go to hell. Nazis, we hate Nazis as much as we hate Muslim extremists. It all said this. Yeah. The first demonstration. Now, what happened at that first demonstration was the Islamic, or Salma Yaqub, who was a Muslim politician, yeah, a mainstream Muslim politician. She come out and she stood in the city centre and she lied. But she told people we were the BNP. And she held a clenched fist and she said, we must smash them, smash them, smash them. Now, hundreds of Muslims prayed on the floor in the middle of Birmingham city centre. They then run through the streets. What come out after this in the local newspaper was that the leading imam from the Birmingham Central Mosque also told his followers to come out and confront us. Yeah. Bearing in mind, all we were doing was coming to highlight what Anjem Choudary had done. Yeah. Now, what happened was we was beaten off the streets of Birmingham. That's what happened. Intentionally, fueled by mainstream Muslim politicians. No one mentioned Anjem Chowdary's group or what they'd done. Basically, the tactic was shut them up, get rid of them. That's what it was, yeah? So what you then had was videos going online for everyone in the country to see of Englishmen on the floor with 6 or 7 Muslims jumping on their heads. You can all go on YouTube and find the video. In a jacket, a student looking lad. He wasn't one of us. A white boy minding his own business at the bus stop, and they kicked the shit out of him. And after kicking the shit out of him, they robbed him through his pockets while he's on the floor. Yeah. Now, what we done was video all this. Yeah. And then went online, and our next demonstration was Manchester. Yeah. And the reason why we were going Manchester was because there was a graveyard in Manchester, a Christian church's graveyard that had been converted into a mosque, and there was video footage of Muslims bulldozing Christian headstones. Yeah. So again, after watching what had happened, I just watched this and thought, you can't do that. Yeah. Because if it was Muslim headstones, you wouldn't be able to do it. If it was, so you can't do it. So then we said, let's go Manchester and highlight this. Now, what shocked me was that obviously I done it myself. I went on all the football messaging boards and I shared the videos. And I said, all we're trying to do is stop what's happening, and we're being battered. Yeah. Because we got violently beaten two or three times in Birmingham. Yeah. So then the sort of man that turned up in Manchester, which I wasn't giving speeches back then. I was wearing a balaclava. I didn't want anyone knowing who I was. I wasn't ready to lead this movement. I wasn't ready for the backlash that come with it either. I was aware of what would come with it because I'd already experienced it in 2004 when I was 21 years old in Luton. Yeah? I'd experienced exactly what was going to happen. You're going to get targeted by the Muslim gangs. I know what's coming. Yeah. So I didn't want to be that man, but I also felt passionately about it. I wasn't brave enough. People say I didn't want to do it. Yeah. We've gone to Manchester, and you're right. When I turned up, 2,000 men had turned up. And there were 2,000 men who were there to fight. Now, I always say, when you saw what happened to us in Birmingham, how many female 30-year-old school teachers do you think were going to turn up in Manchester? When we know what's coming. So the sort of man that turned up, and I'm not going to apologise for them because they're the sort of man that I was at that time. They're a man that's not going to back down. And they're a man that's going to... And you're right. So it attracted... Remember, we're only 3 or 4 demonstrations in. We're a nationalistic organisation waving the flag of St George. We attracted the wrong people and the right people. Yeah. So, and purity, as an organisation, purity comes to time. Yeah. In the very first demonstration in Birmingham, as Luton lads, we ended up kicking the shit out of a load of National Front when they turned up. We kicked the shit out of National Front in Luton Town Centre when they tried turning up there. There's videos of all these different things. Yeah. But you can see videos of after our Birmingham rally of 50 men in balaclavas telling me I'm dead. We burnt the swastika, right? We made it very clear. I made videos calling out blood and honour afterwards, saying if we're going to tackle radical Islam, we're going to tackle you backwards scumbags as well. Yeah. So we made it very clear from day one. So when people, I don't blame people like yourselves when they see something or they hear something, they watch a 20-second news article, you form your opinion because the media's give you that opinion.
Oh,
they haven't
definitely.
showed you
We are going to talk about media perception certainly later on because that's going to bring me to what I'll wrap it up with in a while. So we've still got some user questions as well. But eventually, this led to you quitting the EDL, because if I recall, now correct me if I'm wrong, it was when you were last released from Her Majesty's Pleasure, you realised that these groups you've been fighting to keep out were allowed back in.
Yeah, yeah. So I had a point, and let's not. I don't want to put a message out there that would say the EDL was overrun with Nazis, because it wasn't. Yeah, but there were groups that had all fought. As I kicked, what happened was, as I kicked people out the EDL for being problematic or being Nazis or having or different things, then they all formed their own organisations. And before you knew it, you had the English Defence League here, and then you had the Northwest Infidels, the Northeast Infidels, the Southeast Alliance. You had all these different groups that have formed that just circled the EDL. Yeah? And I mean, I stood up at a demonstration in Birmingham, in Blackburn, and I called them out. Yeah? I said, you're here, right? Your ideology is miles away from ours, right? But you're in our crowd. So show yourselves. Yeah? And this provoked a mass fight. Yeah? And what the media would report, which they did report, is EDL are fighting each other. Bullshit. The EDL were clearing themselves of Nazis, which the EDL were taking on the far right, the general far right, the real far right. Not like us, we're not far right, but we were taking them on. And there weren't masses of them, but they were active and dedicated. So I kicked them all out for years. I mean, like, when I say I've been out on a night out, I made a video, yeah? And I made a video saying, I'm short, I'm fat, I'm 5'6", yeah? You know, and I put it on the Nazis, and I said, hey, if any of you have a problem, I won't hide from you. I'll just come to Luton. Come to Luton and let's meet up. Yeah, because they were continually going to kill me. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. I was getting all these threats. As many threats as I get off Muslims, I get off Nazis. Yeah. So I made a video, and I'm out one night. I get a phone call from the landlord of Luton's main pub saying there's some geezer in here from Newcastle. He's come down for a one-on-one. A toe-to-toe with me. Yeah? So I've gone down and had a toe-to-toe with him at the back of the pub, and shook his hand after. But he went on his way after, and I've had all these different problems. Yeah. And then, so I've managed to get to a point in EDL where I've got rid of them all. And they then hated me, and I hated them. And the rest of the EDL had aligned themselves with me and didn't want them. If they were to turn up at an English Defence League demonstration, they would get a slap. Yeah? And that's where it got to with the movement. I then get put in custody. Yeah? I then get put in custody, and I'm in jail. I come out of jail. I'm hearing things anyway from my cousin. I come out of jail and I start watching the videos back. And I start seeing these same people that I've had running battles with, that I've had a continued nightmare against for years. Yeah, I then see them standing under my banner, which I class as my banner, because when you say EDL, what do people picture? They picture this. Yeah. Now I'm happy if people say EDL hooligans, EDL thugs. Yeah, I don't mind. Yeah, but I'm not. When I live in Luton and I have to walk around and I have to look at my best friends who are black. I have to look at my family members. I have to look at people I love. Yeah, and I'm not being a face for that shit. It's never going to happen. It was never going to happen. So I can't walk around with my head held up, which I've done for 7 years, whilst there's white pride flags at a demonstration under the name I'm organising. So I then got to the point where I've come out of jail and I'm just like, what I now have to do is the demonstration that they were welcome back at was again in Manchester. Yeah, so I've now got to remove the leadership of the Northwest. Now, when I do that, which I know what's going to happen, when I do that, as I've done previously 10 times, when I do that, any support they have will go with them. It's just another splinter organisation. It's more division. It's more problems. It's more headache. I'm spending all my time, all my energy, trying to tackle these inbred idiots, yeah, when rather than focusing on the main issue that faces what I think the main security and threat to our nation is what I want to be talking about. I don't want to be wasting my breath and effort on this. I don't want to be talking about this. But that's what ended up happening. So I come out of jail, I looked at that, and I just thought, I can't, like, I felt let down. I felt hugely let down. I felt that I'd given my life to the EDL. I've just spent 22 weeks on solitary confinement. My family were about to be made homeless whilst I was in jail, yeah, because I didn't feel they'd had the support that I thought they'd have, yeah. So I was at a very low anyway in regards to what I thought. I also thought that I'd also convinced myself very early on that if I was killed in this, that it would be a pivotal moment for our country. And I also thought that my children or my family would be forever looked after, yeah, by people. And I then sat in jail and realised that's not the case. I sat in jail and thought, I'm just going to be killed here. My kids are fucked. My family's fucked. And then there's no one to support them. And so I was at a moment where I was questioning everything anyway. And I come out of jail, I saw them, and I just thought, you know what, this is done for me. I can't do this. Like, if I can't, because what it had to be, I hadn't missed one demonstration. I can't live my life where I have to be at every demonstration when the EDL are demonstrating every other week across the country. And I have to be there, because if I'm not there, Nazis are there. So if I'm the only person, then I'm saying if I'm the only person holding them back, but I wasn't, I don't want to put in one way, because you have to understand that the majority of the people in the Independence League were not racist and not Nazis. I'm telling you that's hand on heart.
But the truth is, they get the most noise, they get the most media attention, and it was all on your head, basically.
And what people do is, so what we do is, if there's a Muslim terrorist attack like there's been tonight in Dusseldorf, I think, yeah, then what people do is every opportunity they have is they say, well, the majority of Muslims are fine and peaceful, yeah? We can't tarnish all of them, yeah? But then we come to an organisation of white working class men, predominantly, and then we have our David Cameron standing in front of a room full of Muslims saying that EDL, there's none sicker than the EDL. Not there's none sicker than some of the people or the racists or the extremists that attended the EDL demonstration, just there's none sicker than the EDL. The EDL become a tarnished bracket of people that combines ex-forces, disability people, homosexuals, Hindus, Sikhs, Jews, all these different people serving soldiers, and all of a sudden we can just brandish this whole group of people as Nazis, as none sicker. When he says there's none sicker than the EDL, what, all the men raping the kids in Rotherham are not sicker than the EDL? All the terrorists are not sicker than the EDL? So I've watched this time and time again, and so many people fall into this where they just openly, like even if maybe it was self, where people just look and say, well, they're all racist bigots. You would not say that about any other group.
No, but it is simply because you know how the narrative goes with these things. Once you get those black bomber jacket lads with the shiny heads and, you know, the salutes and things, that's all anyone will ever see. On this show, I once pointed out that on the flip side, a lot of the anti-fascist movements, to me, are actually fascists because of what they do and how they act and how they do things. That never gets any traction. No one ever points that out. What gets pointed out is anything I say against the right, because to put my position clear, I'm not right-wing, I'm certainly not an anti-fascist, I am a liberal. However, because of certain things LiveLeak have done, I have been threatened by Islamic extremists, and when we took the video down for a bit, the other guys, but I was lucky that some people were there to take care of my family if anything happened. But I'm the token beheading guy. That's all I'll ever be. I'm occasionally trotted out in the media to defend the indefensible, and because there's horrible things on LiveLeak, that's all I am. So that's how it works with the EDL as well, like I know. But you did leave. You did leave the EDL. You did publicly say you wanted nothing to do with the far right elements. You fought against them. And Nick Griffin was very, very vociferous in his attacks on you for being a traitor and a Zionist puppet. Now, there have been a few users on LiveLeak that have asked me about this as well, to ask you. They're not getting the questions verbatim, because if they've come from that far on one side or that far on another, we're not going to waste time on it. But, of course, it seems to me that these days you seem to be getting it from everywhere.
Yeah, so when you talk about Nick Griffin, so, look, you see him, yeah? What happened was, remember the EDL was a massive organisation, yeah? And all of a sudden, I started getting regional organisers, and we had to compare who was the main person talking every demo. All of a sudden, I started getting all the meetings, everyone talking about aligning with the BNP, all at the same time. Yeah? And I was on the stag do, actually, and you can watch this speech. Anyone can Google this speech. So I'm on the stag do, and remember, the EDLs took over my life. Yeah, I go away from my friends' stag do. Most of my friends were not in the EDL. Most of them, majority of them weren't in the EDL. Yeah? So I've gone away on a friend's stag do, and I've got all the other people in the EDL saying the EDL's falling apart. There's going to be a split from the north to the south. You've got to go to. If you don't go to the Walsall demo, it's all going to fall apart. There's all these divisions. So, and this is when the BNP thing's going on. So I flew back. I had to leave the stag do, and I flew back. And this is what I flew back. And you can watch my speech. Put in Tommy Robinson Walsall speech. Yeah, I got back and I said, right, I'm here to ask a question because I keep hearing about the BNP. And what I didn't realise was that Nick Griffin has been in secret talks with many high-up people in the EDL, and they've been working together for months and months and months, planning what they're about to do. Yeah? Which is why a lot of people wanted to oust me. There was an underlying thing that wanted an alignment with the BNP, which the only person stopping uniting the right, which is what they called it, was me. Because I don't want to unite the right, because I don't have any affiliation with any of those groups. What I always said was, I'm the EDL. I'm not having anything to do with any splinter organisation or any other group that wants to stand with white tide or any of that shit. It's not happening, yeah? So, Nick, I turned up at a demonstration. I said, right, you're the people who matter, the people on the ground. And I know the feeling of the EDL. I know the sort of people that are in the EDL, yeah? So I said, I want to see now, raise your hands. If you want to align this movement with the BNP, put your hands in the air. Not one person put their hand in the air. Yeah? So I said, if that's the case, why the fuck am I hearing every day about the BNP? Why am I hearing from leadership across this country about aligning with the BNP? I said, so I knew things were going on behind closed doors. So then I said, the movement today has made their voice. Yeah, I don't want to hear another word about the BNP. And then I had to get rid of all the people working with Nick Griffin. Right? So then I called Nick Griffin out and I said it on stage. And the reason why I said I wouldn't work with the BNP, when I looked across the crowd in Walsall, I said, you wouldn't be welcome. You wouldn't be welcome. You wouldn't be welcome. All these people standing here today with us, whether they be black, whether they be gay, whoever they are, they would not be welcome in a BNP aligned movement. Right? So that get it sorted. But the 99% of the EDL hated the BNP, right? But he'd been working. So, and he calls me well, when the EDL first started, if you go back to his videos, this is how much of a fucking idiot he is. If you go back to his first videos, when the EDL first started, he said that because I was wearing a balaclava and no one knew who he was saying that we were all government. And what we were trying to do was bring in martial's law. This is what it was all about, right? Then it come out that, well, we're not government, we're just other little football hooligan from Luton, and all of his mates. And then he had another ethos. So now, currently, I'm a Zionist and I work for Israel. Fuck knows. Fuck knows. You know what I mean? When I work for Israel, I said, and it's like, I said, I wish I did work for Israel. When I talk about the Zionist money, I think, well, fucking give me something. So because I had none. And I keep hearing from idiots like him who have paid his whole life. I mean, whatever, he's got a seven bedroom barn down on the Welsh border where however much house with indoor swimming pools all paid for by the BNP. I mean, it's all the money spent. So,
yeah, well, who knew? Who knew that the Zionists had such a large movement in Luton?
And if you hear why I've spoken, I still speak, and I've been to Israel. Yeah,
I know.
I see what I see is, yeah, and I'm talking again about growing up. So what I've seen in Luton is the Luton Islamic Centre used to be the synagogue till they were terrorised and kicked down. I can remember in probably 2003. I can remember what Jews were left in Luton. They were remembering the Holocaust outside our town centre, and I can remember hundreds of Muslims turning up and chasing them in. And I remember there was a 5-year-old girl there who was screaming and crying. They had to barricade themselves inside the town hall. So I've witnessed all of this. If you go on YouTube now and you put in anti-Gaza war protest Luton, you'll see a demonstration in probably 2008, 2007, where you'll see thousands upon thousands of Muslims in Luton. And I watch all these things because I was interested in it all and I want to know what's going on. And if you listen to what they're saying, okay, it's in Arabic, yeah? They're talking in their own language across the megaphones. I then researched to see what they're saying. What they're saying is, kill the Jew, yeah? We will, and then they're talking about, so Muhammad, their prophet, he massacred a Jewish tribe who had surrendered. He beheaded 600 of them, and he raped the leader of that Jewish tribe's wife, Sophia, that night, yeah? Now, they're talking about that. They're all bellowing it on the streets of Luton. They're saying, remember, yeah? So I've looked at all of this before starting EDL. So I automatically know this group hate Jews. Yeah, these people hate Jews. Now, why do they hate Jews? So I don't have a hatred for Jews. I have never met a bad Jew. Okay? So,
actually, Tommy, can I just jump in a little there because we will come around to who you were at least perceived to hate soon. What I'd like to do, if it's okay with you, because we're cracking on a bit, because I did promise.
Yeah, sorry, I go off.
I did promise you'd have the opportunity to put everything across. And I do know from researching you do like to get it across when you get a chance, so we were prepared for that. But I would like to read some of the user questions out, if that's okay.
Yeah.
The first one we got is from Team Tessary Tactical. I'm imagining that might not be his real name. Team Tesseract Tactical says, I have viewed many of Mr. Robinson's YouTube videos and some of his protests and marches, and wonder if he feels he should move to America to maybe further his political views here. Now, that would be an issue, wouldn't it, getting into America?
It would. Look, if I wanted to get in America, I'll get in America. I have this stupid, it's like in 2010, I got 10 months in jail in the UK because I illegally got into America. Because I was deported the year before. And throughout the last 7 years, if I view something as morally just and morally right in what I'm doing, I'll do it. And that's how I thought. So whatever I've done, I think I'm going to do it. Whether it be going to a demonstration that they're telling me I shouldn't be at, if I think I should be there. And the same with America. I felt that I had a warning to give America, and I knew full well what I was doing was wrong, and I knew I could end up in prison in America. But at the same time, I thought, I want to do it. Now, what he's actually said there is, I've contemplated myself. I've contemplated whether what the police have done in the UK is, after targeting me, after targeting my wife, after targeting my parents, the last 3 interactions I've had with the police, they've made sure we're in front of my 3 children. Now, anyone can witness this, or you can go and put in Tommy Robinson's children. You'll see where I was with my family in Cambridge. Police come in. They told me I had to leave the city. They brought 10 to 20 police officers. Yeah, I'm with my kids. Right, my kids are hysterical, crying, screaming. The police persist in following us with a camera. But I'm with my kids, and they've made sure each time they've come to my house at 3:30 in the afternoon. As soon as the kids get in from school, they come through the door. Yeah, over nothing. Over another case where when it went to court, I was acquitted straight away, time and time again. So I felt, what do I have to do to stop what I see as a political persecution affecting my kids? And the only place I think that I would be free from that is in the United States. And I thought about all this. I think about what's right for my kids, what's right for what my kids witness, where it's all very well, but at the same time, I don't know. I wouldn't want to feel like I'm running away. I've had that my whole life. It's the reason why I still walk through Luton every day. This is the reason why I still make sure I go into town every day, so that people know he don't really give a shit. You're not going to bother him. But I get exactly what you're saying. It's not something that I haven't thought about a lot.
Okay, we've got one here from. This is someone who actually apparently already follows you on Twitter, but with a different name. On LiveLeak, he's called Robin Sage. Robin would like to ask you if you've ever considered going into mainstream politics, standing for a local council or as an independent in a local election, for example, as he says you've proven that your message resonates with many.
So what I always used to say is I don't want to be a politician. I always used to say that as the EDL. Yeah? I don't want to be. When I look at what's happening currently, I think Nigel Farage is a lot more powerful now than he would have been if he was an MP, because it will tie him. With myself, if I got in as an MP, it would guarantee my safety. Because currently the police don't do jack shit. They don't deal with death threats to me. They don't arrest people for violently attacking me. That's just reality. You can go and watch time and time again where I've been beaten up and attacked, and they just don't do it. So I think they would have to if I was a member of parliament. At the same, and I'll go through different stages of the way of thinking. When I look at the recent Stoke election for UKIP, yeah, I think I'd have won that seat. People might say, "Oh, shut up." I do. I think that UKIP needed to make a decision. They've messed up. Their decision needs to be that they're going to be the voice against Islam in the UK. That's not against Muslims. That's against Islam. Geert Wilders is winning them. He's going to win the Dutch election as being the voice against Islam. Marine Le Pen is going to come first in the first round at least, being the voice against Islam. Not being some politically correct attempted voice against Islam. Just being straight talking. That's what people want to hear. Now is the moment, especially in the world's politics, for straight talking and honest talking. Yeah? I looked at Paul Nuttall's, one of his election campaigns in Stoke, where he was telling everyone the great effort and how proud we are of the Muslim community and what great things they've done for our country, and we are definitely not going to ban halal. Do one, mate. That's what I think. You had the opportunity to electrify British politics, and you've sat on the fence and been politically correct. You've sat on the fence.
You don't get your 60 grand a year and your expenses if you speak out.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it. And I just don't know. What I don't know is if any of them are brave enough. And I don't say that because any normal family man or any family man with a family is going to change your life forever, because it's changed mine. Yeah? It's going to. So I don't blame a lot of them for not. Yeah, because I just think it's a career changer, it's a life changer, it's a security changer. Or that it at least has been. I can see all that turning now. And as it turns, remember we've been doing this since 2009. In 2009, it was just us saying this. Yeah. Now, there's a hell of a lot more people who are now.
I'm going to have to push on a wee bit here, if that's okay, because there were so many questions. What I may do is actually forward some of these to you, and if you're ever bored, just send me answers and I'll get them off to them. There you go. Proof. Proof right here, right now, because that's what Mossad guys do. They wear the T-shirt.
They wear T-shirts.
That's it. Well, we got a question here from Travis1991, who says he wants me to say hello. I think we've already done that. And to ask you, if you were made Prime Minister tomorrow, how would you approach the immigrant problem? Would you try and implement a blanket ban like Trump?
I'd have a blanket ban on Muslim immigration, yeah. I don't see the problem as immigration. I see the problem as Islamic immigration. And I say that, and I don't say forever. I just say until we sort the problems out we're in. I don't think that when people voted for Brexit, and we're talking about immigration, I don't think many people in the UK care if someone from Germany, someone from Spain, someone from many of these countries come to work or live in. Yeah? We all know that the section of immigration that's not integrating, not assimilating, causing us huge problems in every single area is Islamic immigration. And it's to do with the teachings. So I would do a blanket ban straight away on all Islamic. In fact, Gert Wilders is saying the same. Gert Wilders is not saying what Trump's saying. Trump, I don't think, went far enough. Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, all these countries are still flying in. Yeah.
Trust me, everyone on LiveLeak knows what Gert Wilders said.
Yeah, cool.
Trust me on that one. Trust me on that one. Okay, well, got to kind of wrap it up now. Obviously, we've let you go through everything, and I'm going to give you what I think, because obviously I'm massively important, yeah? I'm going to take it as read. I've not found anything that you've said that could be construed as racist. I haven't. Nothing, not a single thing. Comments about a religion, which isn't racist. I suppose if you really tried very hard, you could make an argument about it's bigoted, but even then that would be difficult. But you are tarred with the racist brush. We've seen you on TV where they just screamed it at you repeatedly. There doesn't have to be evidence. It's been decided for you. You went to work with Quillian, with Pegida UK, which we'll try and get some info up for people. And as I said last time we spoke about you on the show, if we take it all that's read, you left because of the far right elements creeping back in. You're not a racist. I can't find anything you've said that's racist, and I have looked, because you would. I've seen you pilloried by the likes of George Galloway, patronised by Newsnight. And if you are, I'm going to take it as read. This is who you are. You passionately care about Islamic extremism. Too many firebrand imams coming in preaching hatred and death and things like that. And no one that's sensible could argue with that. I've long said there's no place in any civilized society for Sharia law. There shouldn't be halal or koshering for me, because it's just cruel and unjust. But there's a problem. And even if you're sincere with that message, I've got to ask you, when you're putting it out there, who are you trying to reach with this?
So what I've seen as my role, yeah, and I believe it's worked, and I believe it's working. I believe that with not just me, because this wasn't me. None of this would have happened without the people who joined the EDL. What I believe is that we laid the foundation for the speech that's now happening. We made it acceptable to talk about this issue. Prior to us, no one spoke about it. No one. Yeah?
Do you not think that perhaps, though, there is a flip side? That to reach the people that have to be reached, the problem we've got is that one of the figureheads of this movement, which is you, in this country is that you have been sent down for ABH.
Yeah, history. Yeah.
This is not. I'm not slandering you. It's the past.
No,
It's done.
it's cool. I know who I am, man.
Exactly. There was the mortgage fraud.
Yeah.
You do use the name.
There wasn't a mortgage.
Sorry, it was related to.
Yeah, so there wasn't a mortgage fraud. That was basically they went back through 6 years of my life. You know? They done everything they could, not just on me. They raided my nan's house. They arrested my cousin. They arrested my wife. They had all my family members on bullshit charges. Yeah, I mean tax, just bullshit. No one knows. Try and find a picture of my wife. Yeah, the life I've had to live to keep my wife a secret, to who she is, so that she can freely walk down the street with my kids.
I get it. Believe me, I get it. But what I'm getting is
they had me in a position where plead guilty to this, we drop all of them. Yeah, that's blackmail. That's not justice. But anyway,
that's fine. I'm not even going to challenge you on that because, for all I know, it probably is true. But the perception.
Yeah, no, I understand the perception.
The ABH, the fraud, the using the name of a soccer hooligan. The past have been a bit of a casual. I think that's the right term, isn't it? The links.
Wasn't for any of that history, if it wasn't for any of that history, if it wasn't for my upbringing, that's why I always say I'm not going to apologise for who I am.
This is not what I'm doing here. This is not what I'm doing here. This is not the point. What I'm trying to say to you is, with that past, and everyone's got a past, with the links, rightly or wrongly, with the far right, with the fact that whenever you go on TV, you're just screamed at as racist. You're wheeled out to be the man they shout racist at.
The bogeyman.
Is it possible? That you could be part of, not only you say that brought this out into the open, part of what makes it impossible to get this across to the more mainstream people? Because you've already got mainstream media against you. We know that. Yeah. The government are against you. I know you've been put in in situations that do threaten your life. You've been beaten, you've been attacked, and you were put in a cell with a lot of Muslim guys, I believe, which clearly is not healthy. But do you not feel that perhaps, no matter what you do, the weight of that perception is there about you? And if anything, it could be holding any kind of movement back. Do you think perhaps a better place you will be behind it?
No, I get it. So, and if I'm honest, so when I come out, you have to understand that, you see, when I come out of jail in 2014, at that moment in my life, I never wanted to talk about Islam again. Yeah? I'm in jail again, and I'm sitting there all the time thinking about what this is doing to my wife, what it's doing to my mum. My mum was, at the time, drastically ill with cancer. I'm thinking about their last days, that they deserve peace. And I'm thinking all these things. And at that moment, I thought, I'm coming out of jail, and do you know what? I'm just going to crack on with work again. Yeah. And then I've come out of prison, and I've waited, and I've watched. And anyone can see this, because I was silent for months. I've sat, I've waited, and I've watched. And I've waited for someone to fill my space. I've waited for someone to talk about this. I've waited for someone to lead a movement. I've waited to see someone stand up and do it. No one has. No one says what. So when I watch these programs with debates, or I'm watching online, and I'm thinking, no one's saying what needs to be said. I wish UKIP would have took the bull by the horns and become the anti-Islam voice that Britain needs. Because I'd have just sat back and gone to work. I'd just be the dad to my 3 kids that I need to be. Yeah? But they fucking haven't. That's the reality. They haven't. No one has. So I still sit there now, and I still hear things, and I still see things, and think, that's not the problem, okay? Terrorism isn't the only problem we face, right? It's the probably smallest problem we face. The biggest problem we face is the demographic change to our country from a community that is not going to integrate or assimilate, that promotes hate against everything that we stand for. Yeah? That's the problem. And it's like a chicken. So I understand that, and if I'm honest, bud, when I started DGL and I wore a mask and a balaclava, it's because even then I knew that to reach Middle England, they're not going to listen to me. That's how I thought. And I also knew at that time, I've got a criminal record. I'm a football hooligan. Yeah, I'm not the person to lead this movement. So as it was growing and growing and growing, we kept waiting, thinking someone's going to come in and take this and do what they and someone's going to know what to do with this with this voice that we've created. No one come. No one still now. No one. I don't see as a political option in the UK. I don't see any. I do in Europe. I look around the world and see hope everywhere. None in the UK.
Grab a drink quick. You're going to cough a lungo.
Yeah, I know, man. Sorry.
It's all right. Get it down you. Right, we're going to have to wrap up in a sec. I would put it to you that I think sometimes you still revel a little in the laddish sort of past. I see how you post. Also listen to your interviews where you slip up and let that drop a little bit on occasion. So I do think you play up the lad thing quite a lot. I think, my personal opinion, I'd probably drop a lot more of that. And I think it'd be interesting to see more of your points of view on extremism in general, because when I follow your feed, and I know there are problems with the communities and the Muslim communities, particularly those from certain areas like northern Pakistan, Kashmir, there's problems with that in particular. But I think if you genuinely want to reach people, and I'm taking your word that you genuinely do, I think you can reach a little higher than the audience you sometimes play to. And,
yeah, I see people saying, I listened to you at Oxford Union, I thought you're brilliant, I look at your Twitter feed and think you're a prick. Yeah.
It wasn't the Oxford Union that caught me, because everyone would step up the game a little. It's when it drops in interviews.
No, I know, yeah. But what I always say is, which is the same, it's like, this is who I am. Yeah. So, and I don't, this is who I am. So I'm the man that would say something. I'm the man that would do something. I'm the man that, so I never want to become, it's like people always say to me, I'll put a suit on. That's not who I am. Yeah. And I think people followed me through the EDL because of who I was. Because I was one of them.
I don't disagree, but I think if you know,
I understand.
If you don't reach out, the only people you're going to talk to are the people that will never challenge you. Now, we've got still quite a lot to cover in the regular show. I made a very conscious choice now. There's always two options, I guess, interviewing you is to just go after you and scream at you for being a Nazi for half an hour and no one learns anything. Very boring. I really, really wanted to give you as much airtime as possible to hear where you come from, so thank you for sharing that tonight, Tommy. I do appreciate it.
No, cheers.
And I will obviously be watching with interest, and I'll probably put my foot in it on Twitter again before too long, because that's what...
So will I. Don't worry. So
that's what Twitter's made for.
That's what it's for. You see, the other thing is, people who don't know me, yeah, I find things funny, right? So some of the comments, if you don't know me and you're reading some of the things I'm saying, you'll be thinking, this guy's an idiot.
Well, that's the problem, though, isn't it? You're on a stage. You're on a stage where you're under a very close microscope. No one gives a fuck what I say.
That's the problem.
That's the big difference.
That's the problem. So I can have a bit of ban. Like, I'll give you one example before I end. Is I've got my mate in Luton. St Patrick's Day's huge, yeah? My mum's Irish, yeah? Now, all my friends seem to go out on St Patrick's Day. So I messaged my friend whose mum's Irish, whose dad's Irish, but mum's English as well. Same situation. I messaged him saying, we're going out, we better be out on St George's Day, yeah? And I messaged him on Twitter, this was a few years back, and then I said, if you're not, you're bog Irish. I'm not giving off for being Irish, yeah? Just banter, right? My mum's Irish. I said, if you're not, I'm going to get a mob of lads and turn up at Wembley and smash all your paddy heads in, yeah? Just me messaging him as banter, front page of the Irish Post. I had my auntie walking in her Irish accent and say, what the fuck is this? And I'm just like, this is me tweeting a bit of banter with my mate. But that's when I understood there's a magnifying glass in everything I'm saying and doing, even with my friends. So I have to be careful. But as I said, yeah.
Well, listen, thank you very much for coming on. I do appreciate it.
Yes, man.
And if you get the time in future, perhaps we'll have a bit more of a ding-dong then and give the other side of it what they want. But until then, thank you very much, and thanks for sharing with us, and speak to you again soon. Take care.
Yes, see you later.
That was Tommy Robinson, who I've roundly given my thoughts on previously, but I was determined, because I know that our audience is split, to give him time to get his story across so people would learn who he was, where he's come from, and the issues that I do think